Right. Remind me of your name.
Amanda.
Amanda. Right, thank you for coming. And believe me, this is unusual. There's all kinds of reasons why people aren't here. So welcome, thank you. First really fall meeting, I think. Item number 1 is to approve the minutes from last time. Everybody looked at them online and said they were fine. Nobody wants to renege on that? So do I have a motion? Okay. Carol,
And I'll second, yeah.
Okay. All in favor? Okay, minutes are approved. Wonderful. Report on the Fall Festival. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it. I was in New Hampshire. That's something that got arranged a long time ago. So the people who were here and volunteered, thank you very, very much. Want to just give us a little overview?
I thought it went well. I mean, we had, what did I say, 68
68. you said,
68
yeah.
people stop. And we just did hash marks as people came in and spoke. I met with some local,
Everyone.
I met with some, a local homeowner whose husband is in impervious paving. And she worked for the EPA, but they have raising their child right here in this neighborhood.
Nice.
I mean, just lots of interesting conversations.
Mhm.
We had plenty of people stroll in and chat. We gave out a lot of pamphlets and had a lot of discussions about stormwater, and I thought it went well. What did you think? I mean,
Oh, yeah, I think it went well as well. And actually, I did speak to the husband then.
oh,
He
good,
stopped
came back.
by later,
Good.
yes, and I passed along his information
Mhm.
to Kathleen. He is involved. I'm not sure about the company, if it's more local or I think it's probably a bigger scale for him, maybe works with commercial suppliers, but both pervious pavers and impervious pavers, but he did say that he would, oh, look, there's wildlife here.
Yeah, there's wildlife.
Okay,
Okay,
so-
buddy.
We
It's
have
a
a
daddy
spider
long leg.
situation,
Yeah.
okay.
It's a daddy one. Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So at any rate, he did say that he would be willing to come here and speak to us in the future about some of the permeable solutions
Mhm.
for sidewalks and driveways and such. And I thought that might be
Yeah, for
interesting.
the
So,
homeowners,
so-
which we thought
Mhm.
that might be a good.
so we could certainly reach out to him and maybe for a future event, have him come and do a little presentation of what options are really out there to help with stormwater management. As far as the actual displays, we had a lot of kids playing with the sand table and the Enviroscape,
Good.
which was
Yeah,
great.
good. Yeah.
And I did have people inquiring
About
about the
lighting.
lighting, which
Mhm.
was really great too, especially when they looked at the pictures of my home, which really demonstrates that you can have a dark sky compliant light on your porch and your driveway and still light the driveway, but not light the sky too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it was good. Hands-on, I think, really makes people
Right.
understand a little bit better.
Yeah.
And Ken did the environment.
Hey, Ken you've worked the Enviroscape, Ken?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun.
It was fun.
Yeah. And you get to make a mess. Hey, and you're allowed to do it.
So it went, I think we had pretty good community outreach. I
That's
think it went
great.
well.
Yeah, and that was just the first one, so we can build on that. So thank you to everyone. And next time I'll be here, I promise. I hope, anyway. There are all kinds of things people say after that, like God willing. So ideas for next steps. You know, I don't know if you know, Amanda, but we spent the entire time up until now working on ordinances, which just were so exciting that every week we got fewer audience members. We started with about 12 or 15 and we're down to, we're down to a
The core.
solid 4. It only happened because the township was starting the revision of ordinances at the same time we were starting as an EAC. And it's great that we had a chance to give input. It's also great that it's pretty much done, right?
Yes.
I was not here for the last Board of Supervisors meeting when that was all discussed. But as I understand, our engineer was fine with the PEC recommendations and,
Yeah.
I assume it was up with part of the packet, for the last Board of Supervisors meeting.
Yeah, it sounded like they were gonna look for a hearing November, December, somewhere around there, for the
Oh, public hearing,
yeah, for the actual.
We have to,
Right.
we have to advertise first.
Yeah.
right, and that'll be the whole package of all the amendments.
Correct.
One fell swoop.
Mhm.
Okay, that's great. So now we can move on to other things. Fun things. The first thing that I think we need to talk about, and I'm gonna just pull this up, is we had talked quite a bit about a logo. And it was hard to do because we didn't have anything in front of us. I'm gonna put this over here on this easel. Just because Jerry Reuter went to a lot of trouble to make it. It was there for the EAC, can everybody say it?
Yep.
It was there for the fall festival. We didn't have anything in digital form. She had offered about 4 or 5 designs that she put together with Kirsten Goodkent. Everybody sort of favored this. I love the way she made it sort of 3D with the felt trees. I wasn't expecting that. But that's because it wasn't digital. She put that together for us for a poster. Possibly the best thing to do instead of a banner, some of us were saying, is a tablecloth. Because generally you're doing tabling events. And you know how the full tablecloth that has the drop down in front, and I've been noticing that at various tabling events that I go to, I never noticed it before. It's just sort of, blindly I see it, but I don't think about it. And now I realize that the tables all have their branding on their tablecloths,
Well, I think
Hanging down.
hanging down.
hanging
the
down
front.
across the front,
Mhm.
but I think we could do the New Britain Township easily, the way it swoops up, we could have New Britain Township seal there. So it would be, and we could, the lettering, we can work on as far as getting it to
yeah.
fit. I think it's great.
I think-
picked that one. I thought that was,
I think it
Clear.
should say New Britain Township so
Oh,
that
yeah,
people.
yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, it should have.
This was just for the fest.
Do we
Yeah.
want it to say EAC or we want it Environmental Advisory Council?
Well,
Like if you're getting that printed really small on stuff, it's just a lot of words.
Right,
yeah,
I think for the banner, it should be spelled out so people can,
so people
a
really
lot of
know.
people aren't gonna know what EAC means.
yeah, I've had that question quite a bit since I said I'm sitting on the EAC
Everybody
board and
asks.
everybody says, okay, what's an EAC? So,
Yeah.
Okay.
So for a tablecloth, we could have the whole thing, because tablecloth's big, it's,
I would just get not the ends of the tablecloth, like just to go, because sometimes there's different size tables and if you have like an L shape. Then it's it's not fitted correctly, because I work at the Tile Works and they have the tablecloth never fits when we go to different events, depending on where you are. Half of the tablecloth hangs off and it's made for a certain size and it ends up looking super unprofessional.
you
So
mean,
just get like something to drape over the front, maybe, does that make sense?
oh, that would be easy.
I think a banner,
That you could just drape over, that would be.
Yeah,
like
you can attach to the table in the
Right.
front, just a banner, because if you get a banner, it's gonna be plasticized or
right,
something, whereas cloth is gonna get ripped, stained, etc. And that you could put a tablecloth down, but you just attach that to the table. So I would get
Like
it
with
in
Velcro.
Velcro, zip ties, whatever you can use. But I would get it with that banner type
We could also
material.
use it in the back of the tent, depending on what it is. I see what you're saying. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
have it on a large piece of fabric with grommets. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can easily do it. Yeah, perfect.
and we don't
It'll
have to
last longer
decide
that way.
this right, that if we agree on this logo, we can start to think about how to put it places. But we don't need to decide about the tablecloth or the banner right away, because we don't have any events coming up that I know of.
Does anybody think a sun would look good? And I'm just like looking at it and I would like, if there was like a yellow sun, that's what I see. Cause like, it has like this nice like arch, it just would look, to me, that's, like, I think it would look cool with like a sun in the background, like setting maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Possible.
think, I'm trying to think of the other,
I know it's a lot of
there's a
color,
slew of them to pick from. And
but it's just because of it's like a nice flow.
It is a nice flow, yeah.
The other thing to think about while we're talking about the logo, and I know we talked for a long time about somehow incorporating the seal.
Yeah.
But I want to pass this around. I'll come down to you guys as well. My daughter works with someone that lives in Solebury Township, and their EAC for fundraising is selling a front license plate for the township that shows the EAC. And it's apparently selling pretty well, and it's very simple. So might want to consider keeping things a little simple too.
Silver Township, Bucks County.
And it doesn't say EAC. It's
No,
just
it
really
doesn't.
for the
It's
township.
just for
It's really
township.
just for the township, but we could put our logo, whatever we
Yeah.
do with the banner, on something like this, as I know I'm jumping ahead with the fundraising, but the simplicity is the point.
Right.
Yeah,
Sometimes
why I
you
like
can charge
this
you
one.
for color, right, depending on what you're
It
you know,
depends what
on
you're doing.
doing, yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
if you pick a logo
Right.
rather than put a bunch of colors,
yeah, with
like
the,
stick to
Oh,
three or four.
with Penn State, it always is just basically lettering.
Right, it is, but there's.
They
this
might have a
beautiful-
lion head, but other than that, it's just.
Yeah.
We
Penn
need
State
beautiful.
For all of them.
And I think it's selling.
Well, I
because it
did,
just
yeah,
says
I like this
Township
one. I thought
County.
if you were gonna put it on a shirt, it would be nice, just,
Nice.
you know, like the way we have that.
And something simple like
And
that on
certainly
the
say
logo, we could just
EAC
say
on
New
shirt.
Britain Township,
Yeah.
Bucks County, you know?
The shirt would be nice.
We need branding.
Yeah, we need branding. A shirt would be really nice. I already want a shirt.
I think that's an idea. It's selling because it just says,
It's
it's a
simple.
beautiful setting. It says Solebury Township, Bucks County, and I think anything you put down that says Bucks County is gonna sell to people. Although people in Solebury might have a little more money to spend than,
What are they
Yeah.
selling them for? Just, you know?
No, but I can find out.
Okay.
I'm sure it's a fundraiser, so
Yeah.
it's not. A bargain.
I do wanna just mention to you that we'll be starting working on our township newsletter to go out sometime perhaps in November.
Okay.
So if you'd like to write an article, or you want to discuss something or educate or inform,
It goes out in November?
it should go out in November. I just
Okay.
briefly looked at it. I'll have to get the deadlines better in my head of what's going on, but it was just mentioned, I think in the last manager's report, that we're starting to work on it. And I think a well-written article from a different entity other than the usual zoning officer and fire
My
marshal,
article. My article's in.
et cetera, might be something a little more off the beaten track than what we've put out time and time and time again.
And maybe we can reach more residents and they can start to come to meetings.
Or, yeah,
It's
Yes.
7 o'clock on a weeknight is
I know.
probably not real good for most people, so
right.
It is what it is.
it is what it is.
So the deadline would be,
I'd have to get that to you, but I would start thinking of ideas and start putting something
Mhm.
together
Mhm.
as soon as possible.
Now, there will already be a stormwater article, right? Because
There's usually always a
I was just
stormwater
gonna say,
article.
that's what I'm always reading, right? Somebody's already, and
So-
they're spot on for the.
well, they're given to them from outside.
Is that what you wrote, Dave?
Yeah, I was just seeing what I wrote about. Yeah.
Oh, did you write the
Yeah.
stormwater?
Can you-
one?
Oh, well, no, I wrote about fences for this.
I asked-
Hey, good
I asked you
fences
about-
make, good
Yeah.
fences make good neighbors.
Yeah,
We've
that
had a
was-
lot of issues in zoning with.
I
fences over the
know,
last 6
I know.
months, so.
It's just not really, scintillating, attention grabbing material.
I'm enthralled by it.
But I was told by one of the managers this year that, that stormwater article is from above, like a State Department or something.
Right. It was,
You
I-
don't, you
the
guys don't, right?
information is exactly.
I think
Right.
Janine,
The engineers come
from
up
the
with it.
engineer's office comes up with
Yeah.
something, to be honest.
Yeah,
If I remember.
Well,
and I think they probably give that article to their various townships.
You could
Like,
probably still
whatever.
do something with stormwater if you wanted to talk about rain gardens or rain barrels or
Yeah,
something like
Yeah, we'll
that.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a ton of stuff
Something.
we could do.
As soon as I get the article or know what they're doing, I'll let you know. And as soon as I know the actual schedule,
Mhm,
I'll let you know.
okay, that sounds good. All right, so that's something just got put on the agenda now.
So it's spring and fall is when these newsletters come
I
out.
think
correct?
that's
It's
what we're
twice a year?
doing, but if
Okay.
it's not going out till November, it's probably more like winter.
Okay.
I can't remember when the last one came. It's been a year, let's say.
Didn't we do one in the spring?
Oh, we did, but
We did,
I'm
yeah,
talking
I
about
think
this
it's-
year
The
has
spring
been.
one was very nice.
Yeah, I think I have it in my bag.
Yeah,
I think Sue gave a new deadline. Yeah.
so to wrap up with the logo, we agreed that basically we want that logo. And depending on what we're putting it on, we could modify it. We
Yes,
might
for
put
sure.
EAC inside the way Jerry originally had it. If it were on a larger thing for a table, I think we'd want it spelled out because people do not know what EAC means usually. If it were for a license plate, we could do something a little different. We can think about integrating the seal. That's something else. We don't
think
have
it's-
to use the seal.
No, it's not really gonna go with that design. You know what I mean? They're kind of two
Styles don't.
very different
Well, it would be
styles.
smaller, you know what I mean? It would fit in that, like, under the wave.
Yeah, I
Somehow
would
New Britain
prefer to
Township.
just see the wording, New Britain Township.
Yeah.
And the important thing to understand with anything that you get for fundraising, the more colors you put in it, the more expensive it
Oh,
gets.
yeah.
So if you're gonna
Yeah.
keep it to, 3 colors, it will be less expensive.
I know, yeah,
Sue said the deadline was this Friday,
okay,
This Friday,
That's what she said.
this Friday,
She sent an email last week to staff saying this Friday at noon to get the article. in. Sue Gelb.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's true, okay.
Yeah, we'll write that down.
My brain has still not
I'm sure if you got something in next week or something.
gotten over its survival mood deal, so.
It's this,
so,
Yeah,
so Mary Beth, could you ask Sue to hold space for us, next week?
Yeah.
I'm not sure we can come up with it by Friday.
It's a process. She
Force
may just have told certain
Staff.
people earlier deadlines than,
hey, mine was in a month ago, so. it's almost-
I saw it's not going out. We're just starting to work on it, so there's a little communication gap here. I'll get that figured out, but just, come up with ideas or whatever and I have written my entire lifetime, so if you need someone to write something quickly, I could throw something
Well, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
together. As I say to the college professor.
We just get so much stuff from so many,
How many words?
yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say how long.
You're asking details. I don't even know the real deadline,
How
so.
many words
Let's
are yours?
just generate a good,
These are pretty-
solid article.
Mine's a half a page. How many? I don't know how many words that is.
We'll figure that out at the
Couple,
end of the
I mean,
meeting.
how many
Yeah.
paragraphs? 5 or 6
Oh.
paragraphs?
I'll have to look at the other articles that have been submitted. Last newsletter, I had to do a lot of editing.
What are you
Okay.
looking
You
at?
probably, if you pulled up the last newsletter, right, you can
Yeah.
probably count those words.
Just to know
You can
how
look
it
at word
fits.
count on.
They vary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We can do that after we're done.
Okay, so let's talk, I think one of the best things to do with today is talk about ideas for things the EAC can do go forward. These are a few of the ideas, it's kind of a catch-all that people have suggested already to that we do something for Earth Day or Arbor Day. They're very close together. We would have to think of what we wanted to do. It probably would be some sort of a tabling event. We would have to find a location, a place, an event already going on, or we would have to announce it and do something a little bigger. What, people have ideas?
Do you wanna do a fundraiser or like a park cleanup? Like you wanna earn money or do a cleanup somewhere?
These are the things we're asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. A lot of places do cleanups.
We can always partner with like the Chalfont Borough Bird Town, right? Cause they need people often enough as well.
right.
Is either Wilma Quinlan or the Nature Center might be holding some event.
Yeah, we just had our big fundraiser, so things will be quiet for a little bit. School's back in, so there's school kids coming through. I'm trying to think, we really don't have too many big things happening. I think there will be something. There will be something about the building and have like a grand reopening, and I don't know if they'll have commissioners there or not. I can find that out.
Well, Earth Day is what, March?
Earth
It's
Day
April.
is April 22nd. Arbor Day is April 25th.
So a few things. Easter Sunday is the 20th, so the weekend after that would be the 26th and the 27th. The other thing that we could do, if you're talking about a tabling event and maybe just to educate, would be setting up a table at the Easter egg thing that the township does, which would probably be, I'm guessing, either the 5th or the 12th of April.
Which we did last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
April 12th is Passover. Just looking at the calendar.
Oh, it's
Okay.
It's
Passover.
Passover.
It's just that, it's, yeah, it's the
13th?
13th. According to.
13th starts passing.
Oh, well, I'll just count, I guess.
So it
I'm just looking
starts
at my
that
iPhone.
evening, it starts
Yeah,
that
starts
evening, the
evening.
12th. So if they do the Easter egg hunt, can we find out when they're planning on doing that? Cause maybe we could do some kind of tabling event with
We
that.
could do it again. Yeah,
I couldn't tell you a date right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's okay. So we'll do Easter like we did last year. We did speak with some people at that event.
Mhm.
Okay, that's one. A lot of places do a cleanup. I think it's a good idea. We spoke in the very beginning of our organized selves here about joining and doing things with other townships and other EACs. And that would be a good thing to do, because we're all small. We're small. Both those boroughs are small, like Warrington's huge.
Right.
They do their thing and it's big.
It's an enormous,
Yeah.
day.
So that's a good idea. I like the idea of a cleanup and it like spring cleaning.
And we did what like Chalfont Borough Bird Town, we've done behind Borough Hall, we do like twin streams.
Yeah.
So you can do like garden cleanups too, or like just litter or trash,
Yeah,
something lots of different.
right.
Well, we could do cleanup at a lot of our open space, Ken. I don't know what Marshall Circle looks like right now in West Branch Park, but since Arbor Day is the 25th, maybe doing something on April 26th, that Saturday would be a good date to pick.
Tree planting, tree
And
giveaway.
Yeah, we could do tree planting if we had, I don't know what trees we'll have to put in the ground. People like to do that. They really, I mean, if everything is prepared and they walk in and put a little tree in the ground.
It
Like
might
to
take a
say-
little more organization, but you could potentially have a bunch of events. All of clustered around that time
Uh-huh.
Right.
to attract different audiences.
Mhm.
We, the NWA is going to, we're getting 50 rain barrel kits for next year.
Okay.
So I don't know if the township has ever done a rain barrel workshop, but that's something that you could also schedule around that time.
Could we have a rain barrel event here before the meeting, or does it take a lot longer? I haven't gone to one of those.
Yeah, it takes a little while
Does it?
to go through. the
Because we were
content.
thinking of things that take about a half an hour, 45 minutes, and then we could have our meeting.
Yeah, it's a bit longer than that, but
Okay.
that's just another idea. We're looking at doing that
Okay.
within Hebron Township, Warrington, Warminster,
That's great.
next year in the spring.
Okay,
So if you want to, that would be another thing.
so that would be another possibility. We don't want to have too many. We'll spread
No.
ourselves a little too
Two
thin.
or three of them.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's okay.
Mhm.
The Penn State Master Gardeners also, we could get trees, I think last year we got trees with Burntown. And they did Peace Valley Park, they did Warrington, and they brought the trees to the site and a whole bunch of volunteers came out and we got to dig and plant, which is more fun, like it was a lot, and people brought their kids,
Yes.
so we could do,
I did
and
that.
Sarah is Penn State Master Gardener too, so.
Oh, Sarah's a
Yeah.
Master Gardener?
Yeah,
Okay.
so maybe she would know something
Mhm.
about that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but they donated all the trees.
The Master Gardeners did.
And did you
Or
do
Master
something
Wooders.
Do you know what
Master?
trees they would have been?
We've probably got 300 little trees
Yeah.
in inventory for
Right,
next
yeah.
spring, so if you want to do a small planting somewhere.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, we have a lot of ideas then for
Yeah.
that weekend, April 26th. Everybody put that on the
26th.
calendar.
We may wanna block the
Oh, it's also-
27th too. The thing with getting families to participate is making sure you're not interfering with their sports.
Yeah.
And A-Day.
And
A-Day is
Sunday
April
tends to be
26th.
better than.
What's that?
A-Day is April
What's A
twenty-sixth.
day?
Oh,
Oh.
at the
Del Val.
college.
Delaware
Yeah,
Valley
cool.
College has A-Day and they've had it since we were kids.
I never heard of it. What is
I'll
it?
be working there too.
A-Day.
And I'll be,
Yeah,
yeah, I'll be there.
agriculture.
You've never heard of A-Day?
She's never
I
heard of
have
A-Day.
little
She's from
homes there.
Delaware County.
Yeah, it's been.
But she's lived here. She
Any
has to have
picnic
driven
thing.
I
by.
know, and saw the
Why
traffic
don't you get
jam.
a table at A-Day then?
You can get it, yeah, we could get a table at
Yeah.
A-Day. I tabled last year for Master Gardening, Master Ownership.
Well, there you
Okay,
go. Maybe
there
we
you go. That's another
I was
one.
there.
What's that?
I said, I was there.
Well, maybe we need to go with the 27th then. Although Sundays aren't great for everybody either.
I think it's just a busy weekend in general, that's all.
I wouldn't plan your event
Or-
for the weekend of A-Day.
Right. I would
It's
not-
like the Doylestown Arts Festival.
Right.
It's,
Okay.
then if people have kids or people going someplace, they're going to A-Day.
As we do it, it's tradition,
So how about this, as a
but we could certainly have
maybe
a
a
table. there.
fundraiser, we can, for Arbor Day, try and raise funds for trees for purchasing. And maybe have an event the first weekend in May to plant them. Is that getting too late in the season to plant?
No,
No,
no.
No.
no, I don't think you have to. I think that if that's A-Day and you're just coming off Easter and Passover and every other holiday, probably putting it back into
Into May.
early May might be better.
3rd to the 4th that weekend, and then
What
on
is it, 3, 4?
3, 4, and then on Monday we can go to Cinco de Mayo.
The last frost date is about May 1st.
It's a little,
It's later.
it's
Love
later,
Thursday.
Back.
but we have this weird weather that you never know what
But
you're
now
gonna
it's
get.
going further into May. It's like much
It's
further.
moved back.
It's because we're, like, the last year we were 15 days ahead. They do the temperature and it does change, it fluctuates.
Yeah, but that's usually when we do tree planting.
Absolutely, yeah. You want to get them in early because the rain stops shortly after that,
Okay,
or what we've seen
So-
recently.
so what we have determined is that, or even though Earth Day and Arbor Day are the 22nd and the 25th, that what we will do is have our own tabling event here for the Easter Bunny before that. And then after those dates, more like May 3, 4, we will have a combination of things, which could include, and we can keep working on this, a small planting, cleanup, rain barrels. And then we will also see if we can get a table at A-Day, the weekend of the 26th, 27th. And that's why they have it then, because it is Arbor Day,
Right.
etc.
Yep.
It's agriculture and arbor and
And
everything
it's
else.
A
Okay,
stands for
all the
agriculture,
A's.
yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right, that's,
So we need a
we're doing a
table.
lot.
Yeah,
all of a sudden.
This wasn't on the agenda, that's,
Well, it kind of was,
Well-
what to do with Earth Day and Arbor Day, all these ideas for what to do next,
Yeah.
things to do. Ideas for public attendees, I'm sure, Amanda, you already have been pitching some. Lucy has suggested a demo garden. If you know the one behind Kelly Hall, I mean, Kelly, it's like Kelly
There's
Park.
stuff
the
in
one
my
behind
garden
Chapel.
there, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
Birdtown does that,
Yeah.
They
right?
do.
Yeah.
yeah.
We could easily do a small native demonstration garden. In North Branch, right near the picnic pavilion. Make it small enough that it could be easily maintained. At least for starters. We can always make them bigger. You don't want to bite off more than you can maintain.
Forget, you have
And it
the
does-
entire
you
front
do-
of this building to work with
I was just
too.
gonna say,
That's been,
this looks sad.
Yes, I know.
we have been. Throwing that out there and we've been told that the brakes are on. I don't know that we need to wait on that.
Okay,
And besides,
Uh.
Parks and Recs has sort of claimed
Is
it.
there work gonna happen on the building? That might be the reason.
Yes, that is the reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
The same thing that Peace Valley.
Yeah.
They were stumping.
yes, but that's at least 3 to 4 years away.
But nonetheless, we have been
Oh, I
told
hear ya.
in no uncertain
You know,
terms.
that's the same thing I had at Peace Valley. It must be a
Yeah.
management.
It's funny how, government
Probably not
moves
a
at the
wardrobe.
pace of a snail.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
but-
that's okay.
I think that on the ground, right by the pavilion or playground would be a better place. That's something you walk past.
Right.
Nobody,
If we
We
can
could
get
do
a
a
rain
colony.
barrel in the back, maybe that back pavilion. Cause there's not really anything planted back there.
but do people go back there?
Yes,
Yeah.
with the new
I don't care
playground,
where.
yes,
Over here?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't care.
In
where.
the back by the baseball fields, there's a new
I saw
playground.
And we have to
Yeah.
find where there's water, because first we have to find out how hard is it gonna be to water stuff when we're starting. Cause if there's not
Mhm.
close water, it might be to lug it, so,
Mhm.
so.
And mulching, you gotta get somebody.
But they
to bring
can fill the
mulching.
barrels.
Yeah,
The-
the township has, on our restoration projects, we've supplied the rain.
They don't do it for Birdtown at all,
They
so,
do.
no.
That's Shell
the
Pond.
Newbury
That's
Town
Shell
does.
Pond.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that they like literally are lugging water like all the time.
That's
so-
Shell Fund. This is.
No,
First
yeah, I'm just saying
Township.
it's just something to consider, so.
Yeah, I mean, if it's close to the family.
Yeah.
We'll have a watering solution for next year, actually for this fall. Where we can put a sump pump in, we'll have a battery that you can pump water out.
Like we did it,
That's
like we
great.
did up at Nakamixon.
Yeah,
Okay,
Oh, good.
wonderful.
so if the township can't bring the water and there's a water supply within 100 feet, we can get it.
I think
That's
the
great.
point is, if you're trying to educate people, you wanna put this where people are
Where people
going
can
to
go.
be.
Yep.
And
That's what
they
I'm
are
saying.
back there.
That's what I'm saying. It's somewhere where they're going to be, and we can even find a way, the pavilion, you could host an informational teaching.
So
placard.
is this a pollinator garden?
Yes, native pollinator garden.
Gotcha.
Full sun?
We all have plans to donate.
Full plants.
We all have plans. You'll have more. I'll have some.
Actually, we
Yes,
gave out
yes,
a lot of information on plants.
Yeah.
DCNR things.
Yeah.
And a lot.
So next, so at Lions Point Park, we have a project with Warrington to do a demonstration garden,
Yes,
which you're probably aware of.
I've worked on it.
Yeah.
So that's another one
The
that
corral,
we're trying to get.
Yeah, right. This would
Get
not
them
be
set
that
up and then
big.
use the Lindy room to do
Yeah,
tours and that kind of thing.
yeah. They're
So-
so far ahead of us.
They are, but
Oh,
if
they-
it's
they've
close
had it.
enough to this building, you could have education here and then go and walk.
Yeah.
See it.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
close, close-ish to this side.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
okay,
Fun.
I'll get a
That's
list.
a fun
I'll make a
project.
list, yeah.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Make a list. Yeah, that's a
No
fun
problem.
project. Everybody can get dirty. Everybody can dig and plant. I don't know, maybe we could even, it's a little, no,
Why don't we do like a plant swap or something at the same
It's just-
time?
I was just
do
thinking about that.
fundraiser?
Plant swap or sell our extras at, a very reduced rate unless we're using it as a fundraiser.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But even
Plants.
$5 for a native plant is
Or
pretty
plants.
cheap.
We can even ask people to bring a native plant and like help plant. I think a lot of people wanna do that, to know that they're, my kids literally dug like that corner across from the car wash, dug most of those holes. So for me, and like
Did
the
they?
people that know, yeah, they.
That's
they're-
great looking
Yeah, so I'm
right
like,
now.
my kids dug all those, yeah, so
Yeah.
it's I think that people could bring their kids back to play baseball and. And say like, oh, my kids helped do that. I think that would be a really, and if you did it like opening weekend of baseball or something too. like a lot of people would probably be like, hey, my other kids can come do this event while this kid's warming up or something. So
I like that idea.
yeah, it would give them like a way to have a purpose, like, you know, during a sporting event, they could come weed or do something. There could be like a public sign up list for people to help do things with the garden, probably. Like I know kids would probably love to be a part of it.
Great. Yeah. Oh, I love that idea. Now, there will be logistics, like this thing has to get dug. We'll have to import some nice soil.
I
Right.
think we could put cardboard down and
We
put
could.
leaf mulch on top and plant. I don't think, it's already just
We would have
lawn
to do
back
it
there,
now.
right?
I don't know where you're even.
Yeah, it's all turf.
It's
all
turf.
Yeah, you'd have to walk
Yeah.
way back toward
Yeah.
that corner.
Like my
It's
son.
pretty
played
far
on the-
back. I walked
the
in
back
yesterday.
field. Is it that- like that-
The back pavilion back where the playground is.
Okay.
There's
Miles
walk
away.
back to there and then you go past the parking lot and there's two ball fields.
Is it this gravel parking lot with like the down telephone?
Yes,
Okay.
that's
gotta
the
be
back
like-
parking lot.
refrigerator.
And then there's, the pavilion is directly across the little bridge from that.
Okay.
You'd
And
need
then-
rain to
and
dig
then
it up
you
and
need-
out.
You do realize that this is going to have to go through management, it's gonna have to
Yeah,
go
we
through
know.
Park and Rec, it's actually.
Yeah,
So if we start now, we'll be ready
right.
for spring plant.
I wanna be a dictator, so I can just make things happen today.
What would be the first step, Maribel?
Parks and Rec.
Coming up with, sending a memo, coming up with a plan as to what you wanna do. And if I were you, I would pick the site before you send the memo.
Paste
Because
it
if
off
you
so we
leave it
know.
up to that, then there's gonna be a committee
Who
formed
would the
and
memo go to?
meeting, Dan.
Okay,
Less vague, the better.
what?
Less vague, the better.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Anybody want to volunteer to meet and pace it off?
Yeah, I'll be happy. with it.
Okay, you want to do two?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll be
everybody coming? You're interested?
What day?
We
We
have,
don't have a day.
that's the end of the day. When would you want to meet and pace?
Well, that doesn't take a whole lot of time.
No. it
It's
would-
it's writing up exactly what we want to do. So you need a plant list.
No,
to
we're just
fill that
talking about
site.
meeting to pace it
No, we
off.
just want to do it before the next meeting, so
I'd pick the site because until you pick the site, you're not really sure what plants you're gonna put in.
Right. So if we get together during the day and walk out there, we'll pick a day and we'll do it. We don't have to figure it out right now. That takes too much time. We learned that in the past.
is there a time of the day, Katie, that is better
She
for
works.
you?
I work.
Like, and
Like
5,
Fine.
6?
Well.
On your way
six
home?
Should be fine. You know, and depending on, again, depending on the day. Well, we can just, do you wanna just email about it after?
Yeah,
Because
let's email
Jamie's
about
not
it.
here since.
We can include you, Amanda. And we can
Yeah.
include the whole group. Anybody who wants, we might have too many.
I mean, it's literally a 10-minute.
Sure,
Pace
this
it
is
off,
not
like-
gonna be a big deal.
No.
Yeah.
It's just,
We're gonna walk back there.
And I
we'll
would
choose a site.
I'd pick a couple
sites,
sites in case someone
just
doesn't
in
like
case.
one of them.
Okay,
okay.
all right. All right,
The
love the
sites.
idea. Thank you, Lucy. And I like the idea of the plant swap and the kids and the baseball opening. This is great. Okay, the second idea from our normal public is Jerry Ruder, who also did the poster. To find out about the tabling event opportunities going on around us. She tables sometimes for Peace Valley. She said there was a Doylestown, just big, I'm not sure exactly what it was,
I think
event
it was,
at the senior center a week or so ago. And she did the tabling for Peace Valley. And she said there were lots of people who came and lots of tables and anybody could, like we're talking about a day, anybody could do this. The thing is finding out, how do we find out? I don't know where and when these opportunities come up. And we just all keep our antenna up.
There's
Okay.
picnic on Pine in Doylestown on like Saturday night too. I don't know how many more they're doing, but there was like different, like Doylestown Health had a table there.
And what is it called?
Picnic on Pine.
Oh,
It's like right between Oakland and Ashland on Pine. It's in the back parking lot. They had the band come there was a bunch of vendors
Mhm.
and they had food trucks.
Hmm.
And Doylestown was next to us giving out like a bunch of crap, but like people like that. So and I do like an art project for Tileworks. We have tons of kids and then parents are standing there collecting free stuff from Doylestown. But people like if you have an activity for kids,
Mhm.
and if you give them out like a keychain or something silly,
A what?
like so a keychain
Oh,
or
keychain.
the kids like that to have, so
Mhm.
You put
and
on
then
the
the parents will
book
stand there and
Mhm.
listen.
Mhm.
I find that a lot of that stuff gets picked up, taken home, and then just thrown out eventually, so.
Yeah, I don't like.
Let's
that
keep
kind
the
of-
plastic to
I
the
don't like that kind of stuff, but we did kids, like art projects, the kids take down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe we can. Well,
It's a-
don't.
somebody's.
Maybe we can think of something not junky,
Fridge magnets.
environmentally friendly.
Fridge magnets.
Or we could
Anything
tax the seed,
about
what
it.
about tax the seeds?
Yeah.
Tax the seeds, but packs or something.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah,
Or I think
Okay.
pencils, it's something.
yeah,
It's
something we
actually
can
gonna
use.
Yeah.
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 Let's put our thinking caps on for that.
Thank you.
So picnic on, how do you find out about that? Picnic
Probably
on.
the
Pine.
Joe Montone is the contact for that, but like you could just go online, like there's like so many event pages with different events.
Mhm.
Like even the Peace Fair or something they have in September, like that's like a for the.
It's usually the day of our fall fest.
Oh, there's so many things
There's
that
a
day.
piece fair in Newtown, yeah.
Was it the 20th and 21st this
Yeah.
year?
Yeah,
Everything was that day.
everything is that day, yes.
All right. Amanda, could you do me a favor? When you see these things, could you just shoot it over to me and I'll just disseminate it?
Just the
Okay.
Herald put out, doesn't the Herald put out a
The Herald has activities
things
coming up,
coming up and that
Yes.
kind of stuff? Yeah,
they do, and we could put things in the Herald too. I mean,
Yes.
people-
Yeah, and that's another thing we need to do.
yeah, Facebook. Usually what I get from Patch is things to do this weekend and it comes out on Thursday, so that's a little too short, but. I know, I believe whatever is remains of the Intelligencer publishes something like events coming up and
Nobody reads that.
the Herald.
You gotta stop
On
it.
it.
But it would tell us,
makes me
it would
crazy
tell
when you
us
read
what's
news.
coming up and we could know, and it always has a contact. So you can also just go on the websites of the townships to see what events they're coming up with or they're doing.
I think Kathleen Fry is pretty well connected as well in terms of certainly environmental focused events. And then Karen Logan.
Yeah, I haven't really, I mean, I know her and I've worked with her, but I
Karen,
think, yeah, but actually, Karen doesn't do like the Peace Valley area. It's not her area. I think Warrington is her area.
and she does all of Bucks County. She's at Bucks
Well,
County
they sent
Conservancy
somebody else.
District.
I know who she,
Oh,
I know who
okay.
she is there. She's come to my house, but they sent somebody else for Peace Valley, and I was told that they have somebody that actually handles that area of Bucks County, whereas Karen does.
We're
Other
working on
areas.
projects just for.
I know, we,
Like, you know, Peace Valley Park, she's doing
okay,
projects, so. Who knows, but she's just another person who's very in touch with
all the townships,
all what's going on.
right,
Yes,
Oh, yes,
she'll-
so it has to go through her.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
environmental type.
right.
things.
Okay. Okay, so before Easter, we'll shoot for getting something for our table with our logo. And then we can start we can't do everything at once, obviously, but we'll start getting all of these things moving. Margaret, you had suggested somebody wanted signs identifying open space properties.
Oh, when, at the fall festival,
Right.
we started talking about that
Mhm.
and, because a lot of people in the township, I don't know how it digressed into that conversation, but we were talking about the different properties that the township has.
And nobody knows.
And
what they
nobody
are.
really knows where they are.
Where they
and
are
It
or
would
what-
be nice to have signs similar to like this land was conserved, you know, by or whatever.
Actually, townships do have them too. I just passed one the other day. I forget which
A lot of
township it was.
townships do that.
Yeah,
Warrington has one.
yeah.
You weren't.
I have to say that I think we have a lot on our plate and there is an open space fund. And there are things an open space committee could do to apply for grants for open space things. And there's open space funding also that could be used for these sorts of signs.
Are you talking
probably.
about the funding that the township currently has?
Maybe,
I'd have to look into what that can be used for.
right,
Because
right, I know.
that's set by statute and we can't just use it for anything.
But that probably is something that would come with the package of preserving an open space. It'd be worth a look.
Definitely,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
have our solicitor take a look
Yeah.
at that.
But also as we, as this open space gets rolling, because the survey went out, the survey will come back, there will be next steps. There's always the possibility of the township applying for one of the many grants that are available. They usually have some kind of a match, but I'm pretty sure that the open space money, and you might want to look into this, could be used as a match for a grant that would triple your impact. I do think the township needs to start thinking about match for grants because
It's a
You wanna
subject
go
that's
out after
been
this
brought up
money.
many times. Have we heard anything back from anybody on the survey?
I reached out to Ryan, your best friend from the survey company, and he was saying the next week or so, he should, I think they're at that 500 person mark.
Okay,
So we should be getting results within the next week or two.
okay.
So, yeah,
okay.
Yep. I
Um,
touched base with them earlier this week, yeah.
And I have one thing myself to add to these ideas for next steps. I had been thinking that starting to reach out to some HOAs just to have conversations with them about the property, the open space property that they are in charge of, and what do they do with it, and what would they? Is there anything? Any ideas they would have? What are they happy with it? Just start a conversation because it could go somewhere in terms of us giving them ideas about how they could do something more environmentally productive.
Best management practices. Is that,
Or-
but that's private property, right?
It is a
Oh,
HOA
absolutely.
property,
Yeah.
yes. And the reason,
Even though it's open, it's
Yeah.
not
I would say it's not,
truly.
it's sort of preserved, it's part of the development, but it's owned by the whoever I know the Highlands is run by one giant HOA.
Mhm.
I don't know whether it's all one giant condominium. I think each development is a separate
Mm.
condominium,
Yeah.
but they have the same management company. For all those up there. Then we have had in the past couple of years. Small developments, maybe 5 houses, I keep going by, I see the name, I never remember, West Boulder, the townhouses.
Oh,
who
yeah.
else?
I know where you're talking.
There might be, 50 to 60 townhouses, and they're their own HOA.
And those are sorry to interrupt, but those are the HOAs you have trouble with. Cause there's only 5 homes there or whatever, and
And it's one of the homeowners that
exactly,
decides to take charge
Mhm.
right,
and does things.
right.
So with the management company, it's easier to
Mhm.
talk to. Although I've heard many things on Facebook about the management company in Highlands.
It's just because it is land that is already preserved and not allowed to be built on. But it's not necessarily being kept in a state that is as helpful to the environment as it could be. There would be at least potential in starting to have conversations just to open a conversation. We wouldn't want to come in to be bossy. I had been thinking about this, and the reason I'm bringing it up now is because one of these things sort of fell from the sky. And you're gonna be finding out about it on Monday. Because I was out, as a tree tender, doing a check at the House of the Seven Maples. And, the couple said, is there anything that we are allowed to do with this ugly conservation easement that is part of our property, but is a conservation easement? And it's 2.5 acres, almost entirely theirs. There's a sliver of it that's also their next door, part of their next door neighbor's conservation easement. And it's simply mown twice a year. It's just a variety of grasses and forbs, mostly native, some not. And I said, I don't know, I have to see, and I emailed and you sent me the contract.
Mhm.
I gave the contract says you can't plan on it. Dave says you need to get permission from the township if you want to do anything, which is all good.
All right, so conservation easement, again, is an area that is preserved from building, but it's privately owned.
No, let's keep
Okay.
this the way it is because it's turning out great. Let's not mess with it.
Well, I don't know where the property is you're
It's
talking.
on Mill Ridge, but the contract for the easement says you're not allowed to plant on it. It says you are not allowed to touch it. It's to be mown twice a year. You're not allowed to touch it. That's okay. This is great. Because then the homeowner said, we'll happily ask if we can have permission to plant native trees. But how, or something, what would we do? And I said, well, let me find out, get you some help. I asked Karen Ogden. Karen came in and said, wow, this would be a great place to do a really brilliant clustering of various native trees and shrubs. She designed what it could look like of just nice big clumps, total maybe at least 50 trees and shrubs, I forget the number. Around the 2.5 acres with some mown paths that people could walk. And
When
they
you say
love
the
idea.
contract, are you talking about the deed restriction?
I'm talking about the conservation easement contract.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I have probably not seen that.
You would probably need board approval to vary from what it says in that easement.
And that's also an HOA.
Well, no.
Mill
pro-
Ridge, yeah.
It is.
The property, see, it's complicated. The property owner owns the easement,
Absolutely.
but the HOA is involved in that anything the property owner wants to do, the HOA also has to approve it.
Right.
We've got all the ducks in a row. We are coming on
Okay.
Monday.
All right. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that we could say, put a lake in. We give you permission, but if the HOA says no,
Right.
we can't overrule the HOA.
Right, but the HOA is not gonna say no.
Okay.
The homeowner is also on the HOA.
That's helpful. That's helpful.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. And she's asking a very reasonable thing, which is to plant some native trees in a 2.5 acre wasteland. Karen has suggested all kinds of means for doing this. You'll get the.
I'd like
presentation
to
on
see the
Monday.
contract because I
Yeah,
don't
I'll
believe
send it
that
to
is
you.
our intent.
It's
So
okay.
I have to look at to see what we've been sending out to people because we're trying to conserve open space, but we should not be dictating that it has to be grass, turf grass or weeds. Just that it can't be built on. You can't put your pool, you can't
I
put your
understand what you're
shed,
saying,
you
yeah.
can't store your boat, you can't, whatever. But it was never, I don't think the intent is to keep it mowed grass.
Oh,
Should
no.
not have been.
No, I'm sure. I think it's a good thing that there's a process to go through for this. Because if not, then if you just say, but go ahead and plant whatever, things could get funky real fast. I don't think necessarily something as good as this would happen.
And the other thing with Mill Ridge is you have to remember that some of the homes are in New Britain Township
This
and
is
some
a-
are in Hilltown.
This is a New Britain.
Okay.
Township house.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, it's right on the edge, yeah.
There's
So
2 or
anyway.
3 parcels.
Just for down the road, I would like to think about starting to contact some HOAs. We
Sure.
already now are in contact with this one,
Sure.
and it's turning out, you know, hopefully everything goes well. Looks like it's gonna turn out to be a great experience.
And that would be good because that's all on a downslope.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we could get some stormwater, not that the stormwater engineered hasn't been great, but obviously if someone wants to put in a rain garden or plant trees, that's obviously gonna be helpful.
Oh, yeah, this would be hugely helpful. Karen is going to give a presentation at your board meeting on Monday. Ken is going to come
I think I'm gonna come.
because NWA is going to cooperate and yeah.
Okay.
It should be great. But I think it's a nice first example of what an engagement with an HOA could be. And the homeowner, by the way, and this is just gravy, has said,
So,
I've already contacted our landscape person who does all the grass for, plus the HOA stuff for the whole development. And he gave me a price for watering and mowing, and I will pay it. Okay, thank
got a
you.
checkbook.
If we can get more like that, it's raining manna, right? Because it's open land anyway, just like all these things that we've been doing, but then how do you get it watered? If we can get HOAs to plant some trees and they are already maintaining the land, so then they water it. Right? Yeah.
No harm in asking.
Yes.
Not to change the subject, but isn't there that, at the corner by the church, don't they have like a farmer's market that starts in May?
They're not doing
They're not
that.
doing it
I guess it
anymore.
wasn't
Oh,
too
it's done.
successful.
No,
Oh,
I don't know, I was
there's the
going,
Doylestown
it
Farmers
looked pretty
Market.
busy.
I know, but would we be allowed to go into the wheels?
I don't know. Yeah. Oh, that's too bad. That they're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, I was disappointed because it was convenient.
Really was kind of not too much of a farmer's market and it had turned into really just vendors and I think they lost
Mm.
in the community interest because
Right.
any event you go to, you'll see the same vendors.
Um. Are we good with,
Yeah, I'm gonna.
with future ideas?
Mhm.
Okay. So, yep, Coleman property planting. So that is the property that we've been talking about along the New Greenway Trail. You're welcome to come help.
When it's the, it's the,
November.
November 16th and 17th.
I have it on my, I wrote it down.
Yeah, I wrote it.
Oh, that's right, because I sent it out.
November?
Yeah,
November
November.
16th and 17th.
What time are we starting?
Saturday morning, and Sunday afternoon. So it's sort of 9 to 11:30, and then I think 1:30 to 4:30, so split across the 2 days. So it'd be a Saturday morning event if you come on Saturday and a Sunday afternoon because of church.
No, Sunday was noon to,
I think it's one to 4:30,
okay.
3:30.
Mhm.
It's in the detail is,
Right. I
Will be
didn't
communicated.
I didn't see times because I actually.
Yeah.
copied it right
Times
out,
were-
But that's fine.
Property.
It's a month away.
It's-
It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll notice it.
The 16th is our tree tender plan.
I know, I got treat, I've got them both.
So we can't do the Saturday, but we can
Very
do
much
Sunday.
possible.
Where is that?
Well, if it's only the
It
morning.
is,
Lower,
tenders?
lower
No.
state,
Lower
This
State
thing is
and
only in the
Ruth.
morning.
It's
Tree
just
tenders
down from
takes
Ruth.
all. I mean, you can,
How many?
yeah,
trees have
it's
you-
it's 16.
Right, right next to the Neshaminy.
Keely or Alms House, whatever you want to call that road. If you're coming down Keely, you turn right onto Lower State and it's
I'm gonna figure. it.
on your right about
Okay,
quarter mile, half mile down.
okay.
It has not previously been marked. It's another, we've owned that for 6, 7, 8 years and the Neshaminy Greenway Trail is going through there. It's just finally been finished up. There is a paved parking lot. And there should be some marking.
Planting and caging trees. There's a lot of canopy that's been lost because of the ash trees.
Can we get something on the website? Is it?
The tree
Yeah.
planting on the
You
website.
need to email Sue, Gail, or Alex Mullen. because Dave is
Do you wanna
leaving
do that?
Friday, so he's
Yeah,
probably not
okay.
gonna remember to do.
I
this.
can
Okay.
let them know.
You can let them know, but if we
But we need to
put it
get
on the
up as
website, we
quickly
need
as possible.
exact dates.
Oh, yeah, I've circulated it, I can send it to Margaret,
Mhm.
the details, what's expected, what people need to bring.
Want a real attention grabber? I just checked, the Eagles are not playing that Sunday, they're Thursday night, so you could say, gonna be bored on November 17th, come help
Good
us
choice.
plant trees.
Margaret, it's in the email that I sent out.
I'm trying to get an attention grabbing
Yeah, well, what I
headline.
mean is the
Sure.
information is in the email.
Yeah.
You can put that, that's a good
It will be
idea.
in the office on Friday too, so if you want to
Okay.
call.
All right, you're gonna take care of that.
I will.
Okay,
Yeah, let me know if you need anything further.
okay. And then there are other plantings in November and they were also in the email that I sent out. The 2 weekends before that are also not here, but in Warrenton and Warminster. Yeah, there will be plantings ad infinitum until it's too cold,
Mhm.
but yeah.
And I have to bring those trees over for you.
It's good.
Okay,
Too many things.
any public comment on other stuff? Thank you for your contributions.
I do have one thing.
Mhm.
So, New Britain Township is one of the pilot municipalities for the Neshaminy Consortium, which I'm not sure how much people know. Kathleen is a representative along with Stephanie Shortland. So there's 2 representatives from each municipality. There's 6 municipalities within the Neshaminy watershed. We'll be kicking off our initial steering committee meeting in November. And you know, one of the things I've always tried to, from our perspective, from the Neshaminy Watersheds Association's perspective, if we're working with a municipality, like what would be the ideal partner? So it would be a municipality with an EAC. And that EAC would know about and have already surveyed all of the passive open spaces, you know, where there are opportunities to do restoration projects. So the best case would be if we came to you and you said, oh, sure, here's a list of sites that we could do for the next 10 years. Will you help us? Now, I know that not many municipalities are there, but that's what I would encourage you guys to think about is getting a bunch of shovel-ready projects so that when we're applying for grants, we've already done that work. So you can just put it in the hopper and, you know, fingers crossed.
Mhm.
So since I live here, I'm happy to help in that activity, but if every municipality in the Neshaminy watershed had that, we would be able to really make it happen.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
part of the challenge is jumping through the hoops necessary to get approval to do a project.
Right,
You can do that head of our involvement, kind of thing. Or you can lead it, we can support it.
So do we have a map of where the open spaces are in New Britain Township? Somewhere. in the
Margaret
map.
does.
I have a list, I
You have a
wouldn't
list?
say that there's a map, but
We should have that probably within a couple weeks. I know our engineer's office is actually working on
Thank you.
Yep.
Great, perfect.
Yeah, every piece of township owned land that is adjacent to the Neshaminy or is a feeder to the, you know, it's part of that stormwater system. We would love to know when they are and you guys already have prioritized. To get the most value if we do this project, okay? Let's write a grant to do that.
Mhm.
what is going on with the space down over by across the street? We had applied for that grant, like, which we didn't get with Giant, but
I haven't heard.
they're still doing, don't they have to? do
The continuation
something
of
over there?
Bristol Road?
No, no,
Safe and Street?
no,
Where you're across the
No,
street.
the
Along
project that
Pine
Brian
Creek.
was
The giant
surveying,
Grant thing
Oh,
that we,
okay,
would that be an example of one, Ken?
Yeah, if you have a site that
That site's already been knocked out and
And
approved
been
by the
approved.
township. Because we're applying for the grant and they
Sure.
township approved the planting.
just do that times every single one you have.
Right, okay,
Over
we'll
the
work on
next
that. Ken.
5 years, 10 years,
Yeah,
like, that should
yeah.
be part of your
Right,
book of work as an EAC. Is to have
Right.
it.
right,
We will probably have, like I said, upwards of 200, 300 trees for next year. So
They'll disappear.
let's do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to
do
do
that
that,
planting,
if you want to do that project,
Mhm.
we have the material.
right, right, another fall planting,
If we can do it this fall.
I know.
Next spring.
yeah.
So I think I probably sent it once before, but I will send out a list of the open spaces that we have. And we can maybe start prioritizing them.
Yeah.
I think a map.
Didn't
would
we
be
have it
great
listed
for
on the survey?
engineering.
We did the major ones.
The major ones, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I forgot that,
little
you know,
subdivisions and
eh,
stuff.
eighth of an acre there on the corner of Schoolhouse and 202 or Butler, whatever you want to call it.
Not them all.
I think that Hosiapan, is that how you pronounce? It's
Those
I never know how to pronounce
Hostapian
that.
property.
That was on there.
That's a primo opportunity. Stormwater right into the tributary into the Chamonix. Massive area, riparian area. Mix of good guys and bad guys, trees.
Where is this at?
Oh, boy,
Keller
Yeah.
Road
It's- yeah,
and
Keller
it's a large parcel.
Upper Stump.
Yeah. it's
Yeah.
on the,
And it
On
just
the other
was a
side, on
farm,
the other side of the
this
lake.
is the one that was a farm, right?
Yeah,
You drive past it if you drive around that area and just don't even notice it. Yeah, it looks like farm,
There's a number of properties that back up, that sort of go down the grade.
But we lease the
And
land.
they all just sort of
Being-
mowed out into the open space. But even in the unmanaged area, it's quite wide, so we could plant, 100 trees in there.
and they get lost. Yeah,
Well, we have to maintain those 100 trees too.
yeah, we have to think about maintenance, we
need
have
to
to think
yeah,
about how
think
this,
about-
that's the hard part.
I spend days walking from cage to cage. Can tell you, It's
Yeah,
a lot of time.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's like thankless, like
patience.
people have no idea, like, what's this person doing, going, pulling the cage up, checking it, reading, going to the next one. Yeah, get a lot of weird looks.
we are.
We are weird, apparently.
we are weird, yeah, we really are.
Okay.
We like pulling invasives and. So we'll have to think, we need to talk about this more then, Ken,
Yeah.
because we'll have to think of a process by which we start to get this stuff.
I wanna
Okay.
walk the property, so a map is what I need. That's coming.
That would be a good idea, because I walked them with Margaret, but she knew where she was going, so she was driving and I was following. And I never knew where I was.
I can drive.
No, that's the point. If
Right.
somebody else is driving and you're just getting out and walking where that person stops. You, meaning me, at least at that, I never knew where I was because I'm just getting in the car and being driven somewhere and getting out. And I'm like, where am I now? And I never got them in perspective with each other.
Yeah.
I'm not a
You have a
navigator.
map.
I like that, I
No.
like that.
I remember every road I've ever been down.
No,
I
not
do
me,
too.
not me.
We
You have
have
a map and you
A
go,
map
you'll
of
know
the
where they
township
are.
With
I-
roads
yeah,
on
I
it, like
can
an
find it,
actual road
because
map
it's
that can
gotta
be
be
printed out.
Yeah.
I find it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, like, especially our zoning map, yeah,
Yeah,
That has the street names on it.
I believe so, yeah.
yeah.
Could you print me a couple copies of those?
Where
I'll
are
mark them up.
Are there
Like-
any announcements?
Yeah,
Okay, we should move on. Are there any
On legal
announcements?
paper.
Anybody
As
have
big as
any
possible.
announcements?
yeah, we got like
No.
by 17, yeah.
Any announcements?
Announcements?
If anybody wants cardinal flower seeds, I have some.
If you're going to winter sow,
That's my kind of announcement.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I haven't harvested mine yet. Okay,
Tomorrow.
yeah. Adjournment, all in favor?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Right, who's what's the second?
I'll second it.
all right,
Second.
great. Thank you.
Perfect, that was a
Thank you.
good meeting.
That
Thank
was a
you.
great meeting.